A wise man once said, there isn't anything better than a really good meta. That wise man was me, and I just coined that saying right now. Original phrase, do not steal. Meta. Of a creative work referring to itself or to the conventions of its genre. Wait, that's a different meta. A term used in MMO meaning the most effective tactic available. It's basically what works in a game regardless of what you wish would work. Metas have been a large part of gaming for well over a decade now, probably longer. Fighting games, racing games, party games even. Over the years, we've seen these kinds of games have good metas and games that have had bad metas. Today, I'll be doing my best to explain what makes metas good or bad, as well as providing examples for each. So without further ado, let's dive right in. The kind of meta games with metas should strive to be like good. I believe there are at least 3 factors that can make a meta good. Plenty of viable options, fun factor, and change over time. If there's plenty of viable options, if said viable options are also fun to play, and the meta is able to grow and change into something it wasn't before, that's a good meta through and through. I think a good example that exhibits all 3 of these traits is Melee, no doubt. With around half of the characters viable, said viable characters being fun to watch and no doubt play, and the tier list starting out like this, to slowly changing and evolving into this, is why you'll be hard pressed to find many people that claim this meta to be bad, if there are any at all who do. Another great example of a good meta is Tekken 7. Man, oh man, do I love this game, and the meta is one of the reasons why. So many characters are viable. You can basically play anyone you want without having to worry about them being bad. Each character has very flashy combos, and the meta has had plenty of time to grow and change with DLC characters, and the game now being 6 years old at this point. Going back to the number of characters that are viable, it's pretty insane how close it is. It makes tournaments super diverse. You'll of course see the top tier picks, your Akumas, your Geese, but you'll see plenty of lower tier picks too. The meta is so tightly packed together in terms of viability that a player by the name of Rangchu won a tournament with Panda, who is D tier, and he beat a player by the name of Kudans, who played Devil Jin, who is B tier. If that doesn't tell you how good the meta is, I don't know what will. Also, I feel I should explain the fun factor of a meta a bit more thoroughly. It varies game to game, but at least in Melee's case, going back to it, it's fun because the characters themselves are fun. Most are very fast with their movement, and most have a move that resonates with the crowd in some way. Shine, Rest, Falcon Punch, Falcon Knee, they like seeing these moves, which in turn makes these top characters that have them more fun to watch. Like, hypothetically, it wouldn't be a fun meta if everyone just tried wobbling with ice climbers when that was turn illegal. Without a doubt, it's more fun to watch this rather than this. So that's basically what I'm getting at when I bring in fun factor for metas. The kind of meta games with metas shouldn't strive to be like bad. Bad metas are very interesting because a bad meta doesn't equate to a bad game, as you'll see from an example I bring up, and the highest highs of metas are nowhere near as crazy as the lowest lows. What I mean is, when a meta is good, it's good. When a meta is bad though, holy crap, it is one of the worst things to ever exist in gaming. So, what makes a meta bad? When I think about it, there really is only one thing that makes a meta truly, undeniably awful. Unlike how a healthy number of viable characters makes a meta good, the same cannot be said when the most viable tier is the only tier. Case in point, out of the 5 Smash games that are currently out, only Brawl has a tier with a single character in SS tier. It's also the only Smash game with an SS tier, and who else to sit atop that trip-riddled throne than the character with the title of the video in his name, Meta Knight. When it came to Brawl's mechanics, Meta Knight was the perfect workaround. He has multiple jumps, meaning he doesn't have to worry about tripping as much. All of his special moves can help him recover. He can glide, and his attacks are super fast in a game that was heavily slowed down compared to the previous installment. He has it all. When it comes to Brawl, he's the total package. The meta is so ridiculously catered towards Meta Knight that other characters are viable depending on whether or not they can counter him. Falco can chain grab him, Ice Climbers can get in a wobble, Snake's projectiles allow for him to keep his distance, but it doesn't change the fact that Brawl Meta Knight is king. You either play him or you play a character that's decent at dealing with him. Without a doubt, Brawl's meta is one of, if not the worst out of any video game ever made, fighting or otherwise. So Brawl is pretty much the be-all, end-all when it comes to bad metas, but I have another example that comes to mind, and this one is a lot more personal, and one that I'm going to put to rest maybe once and for all. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Over half a year ago, I made a video complaining about the meta for this game, and as I've stated many times before, that video is trash. Here's the thing, the point I try to make, i.e. the meta being garbage, is correct. It's another one of those metas where the most viable tier is the only viable tier, which makes for a garbage meta. But the points I make are horrible. I say the meta is bad because the top carts look stupid, which is entirely subjective. I also make the claim that it doesn't actually matter, and in lower VC races, that is true. You can basically run anything, but when it comes to genuine high-level play, you either pick top tier or you lose, and that is horrible. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has 36 characters. Around 7 are viable. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has 23 carts and 17 bikes. Around 4 are viable. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has 21 wheels. Around 4 are viable. And then you can basically run any glider you want. Oh boy. The ratio of viable options to unviable options is so unbelievably lopsided it almost comes off as a bad joke. Player choice plays a huge part in metas. Hungrybox would be nowhere near as popular if Melee's meta basically forced him to either run Fox or Marth. Little Majin would never be recognized as the king of Tekken 7 if the meta basically forced him to play Akuma. Raichu's win at Tekken World Tour would have nowhere near the same impact if he had just won with Dragunov. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's meta is garbage because there will never be anything like that. You're never going to see a player put every ounce of work they can into showing that they can be the best with a C-tier combination. Never will you get a player standing out with a character that isn't a heavyweight because the meta just straight up doesn't allow for it. The Mario Kart 8 Deluxe meta doesn't suck because I think most of the top tier looks lame. That doesn't matter. It doesn't suck because you don't have to use top tier in chaotic worldwide lobbies. It sucks because top tier is theoretically the only tier when it comes to competitive play. Lack of viable options ruins metas. Fact. This is not a debate, this is not a question to ponder on. If the number of viable options is nowhere close to the number of options, period, then you have yourselves one god-awful meta. End of discussion. Also, everything I said about Deluxe applies to Mario Kart Wii, but about 10 times worse. Sorry, not sorry. And to anyone that may say that a lack of viable options doesn't automatically mean a bad meta, I say shut up. It's my video, and you try to win a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe tournament with a D-tier combo. You try to win a major with Brawl Ganondorf. Just kidding, you can't because Brawl isn't relevant anymore. Haha. Alright, time to bring it home. If there's one thing you should take away from this video, other than the fact that Deluxe's meta is objectively awful, it's that metas do a good job at showing how competent the competitive side of a game is. If a meta is balanced with many viable options, you're going to find a very entertaining, unique, constantly changing competitive scene. If a meta is unbalanced with very few viable options, you're going to see a very stagnant, unengaging, and completely uninteresting competitive scene, which is a meta's worst nightmare. Were there any metas you thought I missed? Let me know in the comments below. But with that all said, I'm Easily Easy, and I'll see you next time.